Success of an entrepreneur.
We've raised the bar.
Learn firsthand from successful business owners and create your own path to success.
I'm going to show you how great I am.
It's time to hit the road to growth with team lead of the Enriquez Group, Realtor Vinny.
Hi, Realtors listeners. Today I have Toni VanSchoyck. She is a network marketing professional and entrepreneur, has her own business. She started with a couple partners. So we're going to talk about twofold of kind of helping other people and then also kind of building your own brand. So thank you, Toni, for being here today.
Thank you so much, Vinny, for having me. I'm so super excited and honored to be here.
So it's a mouthful, right? With basically the entrepreneurship, starting your business, and also the coaching. I mean, if someone asks you, what do you do? How do you describe yourself?
You know, probably a serial entrepreneur.
Okay.
Yeah, I love business. I love new ideas. I've actually been in network marketing for over 25 years. So that's my wheelhouse. It's what I love doing, but we've been able to expand and scale, since we started this 8 years ago.
What does network marketing mean to you?
So network marketing truly is a very unique industry because you cannot be successful in a company without truly having a servant's heart. And that is helping other people achieve their goals and dreams. And then it comes back to you. And I think that's why I love it, because I've always been a service-based person.
One of the questions, and I mean, again, we're going to have a lot of ways to kind of move through this rabbit hole. But one of the questions I always ask once I have a coach on here is, what separates you from other coaches?
I think it has to do with my background, being that I was an employee at one point in my life. I've owned brick and mortars, now with our network marketing company. And we have other things that we've done too. I've written 3 best-selling books. We have our coaching platform. And I just built the very first ever completely automated CRM nurture campaign we started off just for our company, but it's morphed into pretty much anybody who has a customer base.
Oh, wow. So it's a CRM you're getting the word out there, huh?
Yeah. So it's actually what I call it is a customer relationship motivator, because, we have to be able to motivate our customers, but it's completely built in with nurture campaigns. But we can do it for any sales. So that's the beautiful thing. A part of it is that I'm all about the entrepreneur. The sales profession is the most noble in the entire world. And I want to help brothers and sisters that are in, this type, not this type of industry specifically, but in sales in general.
Makes sense. Well, I mean, talking about the networking, talking about the sales, I mean, let's rewind to a young Toni. Was she, growing up looking to network with people? Was she looking to kind of sell things? Was she a serial entrepreneur? Who was a young Toni growing up?
Well, I was moved around a lot as a kid, so I had to learn how to deal with different personality types, always being the new kid in school. So I think that gave me a special skill set. Also, too, my mom was an entrepreneur. My dad, he ran big companies. So, I was used to being around, different types of people, not just, the average mom and pop. I got all different sorts of people that were in my background, from where we've lived to where I went to school. And so therefore, when I was 15 years old, I started working in the restaurant industry, which I loved. And, I pretty much went through that through the rest of my teenage years, and it helped put me through college. And I still have dreams of maybe opening up my own restaurant at some point.
What was, so you're moving around, you get into basically the hospitality industry. What was your pathway of meeting new people, and were you very outgoing personality? What was your process of moving to a new area and finding jobs, finding people, so on and so forth?
I'm going to tell you that was tough. I did not do that with my children. I think we moved 3 times the entire time that they were in school altogether, just because there was a lot of pressure as a child to always be the new kid every single year in a different school. So I think that also gave me the skill set to also make friends very quickly. And, it forced me to be extroverted because, you want to make friends, and, you want to have people that, like you, and especially at that age and when you're in elementary and middle school and high school, is that you just want people to like you, right? And you want to have fun, and you want to, do fun things, with your friends outside of school. So I really think that's what gave me the skill set to help me, become this person. I'm not afraid to talk to anybody. So gave me that skill set is to really learn how to build relationships in a short period of time.
What do you think for people listening right now that maybe aren't the greatest, and it might be kids, it might be older, people later in life, but what's for yourself, if you were talking to that person right now, that it's difficult for them to make friends, what was your process of making friends then? And what's your process of making friends now?
I actually, I think I've always been funny, but I think I used humor really a lot to draw people in and, just trying to poke fun at, I poked a lot of fun at myself, and just trying to find the light in situations. So I really think having that sense of humor, and it served me well. I do have people that tell me now that I'm actually kind of funny on occasion, but I always think of that as, and maybe also too, that was a shield that I would put up too. So people didn't get to know me like that well, but knew me enough to know that they would, that I was likable.
Now you're in the hospitality industry, you're going through college, still in the hospitality industry. What were your goals? What were you looking to do in college?
Well, honestly, I was one of those kids back in the 80s, early 90s that, your parents are telling you, go to college, get a good job, work for 40 years, then retire with your Timex, right? And I did that honestly to please my dad. And I went through the steps. I got my degree, went on to get my master's, and I just wasn't happy. But after I got my 4-year degree, the restaurant chain, which was a very large one that I was working for, they put me into the management program. And that's really primarily where my real big start at the age of 22, I started on my career path. And I did that for about 10 years. And I loved it. It was great. It's just the hours were crazy. And so it allowed me to go out. I was able to travel, to go out to other states, to open up new restaurants, got to see a little bit of the United States. And I loved it. But, I got married and started having children, and that wasn't conducive anymore. And that's when I shifted and started my own brick and mortars.
Okay. So you're, have a family, have kids, and that's the point where you basically take on a lot. You're putting a lot on the table by brick and mortars right there. So what was your idea? Did you have money saved up? Was it you and your significant other that had money saved up? Walk us through that process.
So, it was on a wing. It was actually on a wing and a prayer. We did have some money saved up, and, we just looked at each other one day and said, let's start our own thing. He was doing it part-time anyways. During the summers, he would only work in the restaurant industry on the weekends. And then he was, working with another gentleman in lawn service. And we just said, let's start our own. We can do this better. We can, we can have all of the profits. We can buy our own equipment, and we can run our own crews. And basically in lawn service, you buy the equipment, it's pretty much a cash cow. So I ran the books. I did all of the secretarial work, all of the follow-up, all of the billing. And then my husband at the time was out there running the crews. So it was a win-win for us. And then also too, is that at that time, because I had the resources, I also started a daycare as well, because I had small children. And so therefore I could have extra staff on hand so I could be present in both. So we did that conversely at the same time, and it worked out great for about 6 years.
So lawn service. So he was doing lawn service part-time. You guys decided to invest in it. So did he already have, I guess, the system in place? Did he already have the employees? Did he have the equipment? What did you have at that time? Or was he working for a company before then?
He was working for a company before then, but then we went out on our own, and it was just him. Okay. So that first year, it was just him. We had acquired over almost 200 accounts, so he was working all the time. And we were at that point where we could buy the extra equipment, buy the extra trucks, the trailer and hire our first crew. So that was about year 2 into it. And because he was very meticulous, very proud of his work, and he did a good job. So we had our accounts came to us strictly word of mouth. We did no advertising at all. And we worked, I mean, we were both working really, really hard. But the great thing is that I was always working where I was around my children, whether it was at the daycare center or whether it was at home, which was very important to me. So I was a hands-on mom, working the books, and, I had 2 employees in our daycare center. And so it was kind of like divide and conquer, but we did it. And I was so proud of us being, having these 2 brick and mortars, because I couldn't be told when to be to work, what to do, how much money I could make. That was all on our shoulders. And so that for me was a brand new experience, and I loved it. And I was really good at it because I'm a hard worker, but I had systems set up right in the beginning before, I was into computer programs and doing all these things before a lot of people were doing it. And it just flourished. And it's trial and error. We made a lot of mistakes, but, we were here 3 years in, and just the lawn service alone was pulling in a nice middle healthy 6 figures a year. And, it was going great.
What was going on through your husband and yourself's head? You're saying, from yes, it's growth, positivity, all things are going well. Yet when you're starting a business, and in your case, starting 2 businesses at the same time, there has to be some fear right there that it's not going to succeed, that you're going to hit a rough patch. Did that go through?
It did. Honestly, we had tremendous amounts of growth in the beginning, and I was pleasantly surprised. But I'm the type of person that I jump in with both feet, and I don't look back, and I do not take no. Like right now, it's no is just a temporary situation, and I had always been like that. I had always, like, if I had an idea, I was going to see it through, and I would never quit until I saw it through. What had happened is that year 6 into it, we were living outside of Detroit, Michigan, and that first recession happened, and our businesses went to hell in a handbasket in literally 2 days. So all of the layoffs that the big 3 did, that was half of our accounts for our lawn service. It was probably at least 10 of the children that were in the daycare. And, when they're being laid off or they're being bought out, what are the first things to go? It's luxury. And for people, daycare and lawn service is a luxury. That was the first thing to go. So we lost more than half of our accounts overnight. And that's when we hit that first real rough patch.
So what happens there, right? You lose all your accounts. I know you said that you're a person that doesn't take no very lightly. So what was your thought? Was it pushing through, finding other accounts? What was going on?
Well, we had to lay off one of our crews. That's just what happens. So we laid them off. I actually had to let go of one of my employees at the daycare center. And so what I did is I actually had a friend of mine. She was one of my biggest referral clients in our lawn service, and she actually lived in our neighborhood. She had actually started in a network marketing company 3 months prior to all of this happening, and she was doing really, really well. And she had been after me, just poke, ever since she started. And I kept saying no. I already had, enough on my plate with, both things going on. And so, after this happened and I was talking to her, she said, Toni, you really need to take a look at this. I know that you don't want to, get anything outside of being away from the kids. You can do this right from home. She goes, it's amazing. And I had always shunned this industry. Always thought it was, a get rich quick. Nobody, it's just you and your friends, and you've got to, recruit all these people that and you're a slimy salesman. I didn't really understand about the industry until I got educated on that. And this happened almost, 24 years ago. And so I went to that first meeting with Teresa, and I was completely schooled. And I was just like, wow, I can help other people with better, cleaner products that are more effective, and I can help other people make money and build a team and it's a win-win for everyone. And so that was my first foray, and I was in that company for 8 years. Unfortunately, they changed their formulations, and I couldn't be a part of some. If I can't be passionate about the product, I can't recommend it to other people. So that was my first toe dipping in network marketing, and we launched Monate 8 years ago, and here we are.
How long of a transition did you switch from the company you joined to starting your own company? Was there like a gap of, hey, I see this opportunity, I'm going to go for it? Was it really instantly? I mean, what happened?
I had so many failures. I'm just going to tell you. So my brick and mortars actually went away because I got divorced. And so there was a lot of stuff that went on with that. And I walked away from that. I went to another network marketing company. That one didn't work out. I actually went back into the restaurant industry for a short amount of time because I was just looking at, all right, what is a simple solution? I got to put food on the table for my kids. And so I did that. And then actually reconnected with a lifelong friend of mine, and he's now my husband that was trying to, out here to help me with my technological issues. But we started this. Well, he actually didn't join me in the business because he was a civil engineer when we started Monate. But I was in another company prior to Monate for 6 years. It did really, really well. And then that company actually closed its doors. A lot of arguing with the owners, and they just couldn't come to terms. And so parted ways with that situation, found this company and launched it. And we've been extremely blessed. I guess I had put my time in, I had learned a lot of leadership skills, done a ton of personal development. And, here we are just, able to share and scale and help so many other people. And that's truly, I think, my legacy. My legacy is just leaving a mark on people and showing them that you actually cared and that you actually had a road to help them, with whatever their goals were.
In the process, maybe for people listening out there, what's the difference between joining a network marketing group company compared to starting your own network marketing? I mean, what were the differences, the things you had to learn?
I think the really cool thing is that two main gentlemen, Luis was really involved in the beginning too, is that, we all come from a place of where, we had experience both on ownership side and both in building in the field side. And so that's what I really think that makes, our company very unique, is because we all had experiences, on both the ownership side and working in the field. I think that really made a fundamental difference in our culture. And that is number one in this industry. Your culture is number one. And it goes back to my favorite quote, culture eats strategy for breakfast. But the thing about it is that not only did we have a great pay plan, when I looked at it, because I study pay plans in this industry because I want to know our competitors, is that the great thing is that we just happen to have, and I keep saying it, the best damn shampoo out there on planet Earth. We came to the table with very high-end premium hair care products. We test them more than any other product line in the world. And that was a big deal because we've been a green and clean family for a very, very long time. And, the market research that we did, there was nothing playing in that space where there was clean, non-toxic hair care, but that actually was effective. So, that's how we formulated, and we found great, plant-based products that we built our product line around, and we became the number one premium hair care brand 5 years in. And now we have over $1 billion in sales and a total of $2 billion, but we've done $1 billion in product and $1 billion in commissions.
Well, let me go back to the question. Okay. What's the difference of joining a networking marketing group, right? Because you were part of a networking marketing group that you joined, right? They already had the product, everything lined up, and you're basically selling it. You're probably getting commission based compared to starting your own basically product, your own networking marketing group. What was the difference for you?
So you know what, really, I didn't treat it I didn't really treat it as a difference, because it doesn't matter. You're an owner in any part of this. So whether you own the company or you're with your team, you still own that business. So basically, you're a 1099 employee. You run your teams the way that you want. You do, all the things on that side of it. I think, the other difference is that we are responsible for all of these people that are coming into this business, and we have a due diligence to make sure that they have a legacy business that they can will to their families. And having that due diligence, having the best product offering out there in the entire world, having the best people, and having the best pay plan is a non-negotiable. So we have a lot more, I feel that we have a lot more responsibility.
Okay. So the responsibility, so I mean, that's the big kicker of why people that are maybe part of your company or other networking marketing groups aren't starting their own network marketing company, correct?
Well, the great thing is that you don't have to start your own, because it truly is. The one thing that I will tell you is that when you're in the field and you're a part of, the leadership team, and you're a part of that consultant base, is that you can be your own business owner, but you already have everything built for you. So it's like, taking a key in an ignition and turning it on. You don't have to recreate the wheel. Everything is already done for you, right? We did everything the right way, and we did it, just from a baby standpoint of where, we thought we were going to do $1 million in our first year. And it turned up to be 25 times that amount. It's, because we had the experience, we had the knowledge, and we had, the product.
So what the networking marketing group that you basically left, right, that had a kind of a company change, is there anything that network marketing group could have done to keep you under their umbrella?
There were a lot of huge mistakes. There was a lot of greed.
Okay. So what could they have done to keep you there?
Oh, you know what? There were so many nails in the coffin, Vinny. I think we were at that point where there was no going back.
Okay, but there is a route that they could have kept you there if they would have made the right decisions.
Absolutely. You know what? Be honest. Number two, don't ask your people to be dishonest to other people that are a part of your business. Honesty is a huge thing. Transparency is a huge thing. Communication is major. So those are, just 4 off the top of my head, that if you're not like that in this industry, you are not going to get to the point of where you want to be as far as a business goes. Then, basically, a lot of companies, here's what they try to do.
Yeah.
They try to make light of their problems, and they try to sweep everything under the rug, and they want you to rah-rah cheerlead and pretend like there's nothing wrong. Okay. We all know that in business, it's ebb and flow. There are peaks, there are valleys, there are plateaus. And honestly, being, here for as long as we have, it's refreshing to see that we actually address challenges head on. We actually provide solutions so that you can get through the stuck times, or you can get through the downturns. And Vinny, as you know, everything right now we're in a really weird place, and have been for the last 3 years, but we've provided solutions, and we've had to pivot several times. But it's collectively us coming together and working together, not only as, our home office, but also in the field.
How do you balance out that vulnerability and honesty? I mean, because I think some people, like you're talking about, in some companies, right, they feel that if they're honest with basically their faults, right, that's going to be a sign of weakness, right? Yet, like you're saying, you have to be honest with your people, right, so that they feel it's like they're part of the solution and not part of basically, I guess, locked in the closet, or however you want to word it. So how do you balance that out as a leader with your people?
So I'm going to tell you, actually, honesty is really, really good for you to even create a stronger, cohesive team. And that is the one thing that I love. We're not talking about the little tiny problem, like the little tiny problems we know how to deal with, like you get a no, this is how you move on. We give them, the tools and stuff to know how to get to the yes. and it's just about exposures and it's about consistency. But when you're dealing with, we've been attacked online. We've had people that have tried to sue us. There's been no other result. But when we go through these problems, we talk about it. Okay. And we're like, okay, here's the situation. Here's what we're dealing with. Here's what we're doing. Know that, you have trust and faith in us to do the right thing. And we always have. So that's one of the great things that I really, love about when we are providing solutions to some of the bigger problems that we see that are going on, is that we work through them together. And I think that's really what makes the difference in this company.
Where do you see your company going and expanding, and maybe even yourself going and expanding in the next 5 years?
We started here in the U.S. We are currently in 8 countries globally. We are going to be opening new countries in Q4. And then we'll start. It depends on what makes sense as far as some of the things that are happening right now. We just launched in Asia Pacific. And we're opening more countries in Europe. So that will be a very calculated opening. It's not just like we're going to go and do it, with some of the things that are going on in certain countries that we were planning on. So we have to look at that. We held off opening Australia because of that during COVID, which was a really smart thing that we did. And then we opened up that country last September, and we were the largest company to open up that country ever in the history of network marketing. So I thought, waiting was strategic and it was smart. So we will be expanding. It's our goal by 2025 to be on every single continent. And also I'm so proud of this, and your listeners may not know what a B Corporation is. You can go look it up, but it's being sustainable from seed all the way to, we already have our recycling program in place, but there's only 3,000 companies worldwide that are certified with this. It's very difficult to get, but it means that we're giving back in the right way with gratitude to Mother Nature, making sure that our products are clean and green, and so that's another goal of ours. The other part of it is that I have some really exciting things that I want to see come through fruition for me personally, and then also with the CRM that I've been working on as well for salespeople.
Thank you so much, Toni, for being here today. I mean, if people are listening and they're looking at, there's a lot of stuff for people listening, a lot of stuff that Toni's going to be doing. And by the time you listen to this, maybe it's down the road. Maybe she's doing more things. But if people are listening and they're looking to see, okay, what's Toni doing today? Or how can I basically get a little bit of this excitement that she's offering? What's the best way of getting more information?
So there's 2 ways that they can find me. You can hit me up and DM me on Instagram. It's Toni Vans Official. So it's V as in Victor, ANS. Or you can go to our effing simple, EFFING simple.com and connect with me on there. And that is our basically our CRM platform, and you can fill out the form and get in touch with me for coaching. You can get one of my books for free. So I'm just all about sharing information and helping other entrepreneurs, Vinny.
I'm going to finish off one last question, Toni. Do you see a difference, or maybe you don't? Is there a difference from country to country, community to community, for network marketing, how it's done, how it's perceived? I mean, have you seen that so far as you expanding across the world?
I'm so glad that you asked me that question, and definite yes. Definite yes. So do you mind if I just give you some examples?
Please. I would love it.
So I'm going to tell you, outside of North America, so we launched Canada first. Canadians, actually, they work harder than Americans do. No offense to my Americans. I love you guys, but Canadians are a little bit more serious about network marketing. And then we opened up the UK, and that was really eye opener for me. The UK is very discerning, so it's a longer sales process. But then we go over to Lithuania and Poland, and they're crushing it like right away, like immediately. And then we also launched Spain within the last year, which is doing very well, and Australia, of course, which I just mentioned. So all of those countries are doing well, but it depends. They're all different.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of different entrepreneurs across the U.S., and one of the things I found interesting in parts of Europe, the idea of entrepreneurship is actually looked down upon. And so it's pretty interesting to see kind of your perspective of how network marketing is perceived in those different countries. So, I mean, we all live in our bubble. I mean, and your bubble is going to be different from your neighbor's bubble, your friend's bubble, whoever it might be. So just because you perceive it one way doesn't mean everyone perceives it that way. Thank you, Toni, for being here today. Everyone, please subscribe, please share, go in the show notes and go find Toni. I know there's probably a lot of things that we didn't dive into yet. Dive into the show notes and reach out to Toni. Thanks, guys. Talk to you later.
Thank you so much.